from the desert to the spotlight, it's Valley Christian High School. And up against them, they're Texas tough and ready to rumble. Get hype for Prosper High School. I'm so excited for this, Stacks.
They've seemingly done that throughout the bracket. Can they do that here in our grand final? Time to get this one underway. Game one here in our best of 7 between the two squads. And again, this first game is going to be pretty important, but there's maybe a couple players to pay attention to or some defense to pay attention to. What on earth is happening here as Valley Christian gets us started?
Yeah, and being able to get that first goal is huge, but also just pure speed from Goldheart. Gainfu has the easiest job of all, just be able to put that one directly into the open net. Biggest thing Prosper needs to make sure of is they do not let this team get a head full of steam and just start to stampede all over them.
They haven't quite yet through 30 seconds of play so far. It's been a pretty good back and forth as both teams look for their opportunities to strike, and Northwood will prove very quickly he can strike back.
Bang, bang, and you can't really ask for much more than this. The sidewall read isn't quite there, but I love the placement by Northwood, just being able to put that the farthest possible way. I would argue that's really the only place he could have put that guarantees that goes in.
The question is, who's able to take advantage? Because outside of those initial goals we got in the first minute, it's been pretty quiet so far here.
And not a lot of boost to be had, which is about positioning at that point, and there is a nobody positioned in the middle of the field. Goldheart gonna grab another one to add to his tally, and this one was a strange walking about up to goal.
Yeah, you got to feel bad for Bebo there. I think that they're going up against Debo in the corner, expecting to get a touch. Debo recognizes there is no touch to be found, and he just kind of slides it out center. That's more than enough for any of the players here for Valley Christian to take advantage of, and they do.
The rotation here for Valley Christian is excellent. You have to wonder, on offense it's great, but how is the defense? That's over another player, but with a deflection. There's only one more chance remaining off the corner. It's looking like Bebo has it. It's on target, saved off the line from the corner, trying to rebound. Mercy with a 50. It's a sitter in front of net. Nobody can get on it. Therefore, Valley Christian gonna escape with game one.
We haven't seen the physicality become too much of a factor here in this series yet, but don't expect it to stay that way. Both of these teams are probably going to have to get a little bit gritty if time goes on and the defense does start to step up. So far here for Prosper, they're not playing poorly, but they do need to put a hand up. Goodness me, Gainfu, you might get the goal, but that is all Debo.
Basically a triple tap on this one, gets the double, then immediately follows it up, and then gets a reset. I think he was going for the clip, but he knew it was going to be close enough that if he needs some help, he does have it. Really, only so much you can do there, but sometimes, like you said, you just got to jump for it.
There's like a half a second, they're like, all right, finally, we're downfield, we don't have to worry about our team, and it's getting pinched right back at our own net. Okay, cool. So there is no place on this pitch in which they are safe at the moment, and unfortunately, this is a lesson that Prosper are learning the hard way. They have only found one goal in the first game, and they do not have a second here, despite the pressure, but finally, I will eat my words. Mercy sees the awkward defense and seizes the moment.
Yeah, in this industry, we call that a nearly avoided bruh moment, as I saw it hit off the crossbar, hit off the post, and out, and I'm thinking, really, that's how it's going to go? I don't know who's going to be able to get there. Well, apparently, we have our answer. It's immediately followed up. We have our goal. Prosper, take a deep sigh. Kickstart something here. I like that read, especially with that pinch, but looks like everybody on Valley Christian ready and waiting.
Hart trying to get something started for his team, and Debo will help him out in the process. That's a great bump in front of net. Is it on target? We'll make sure of that. Debo going to secure yet another goal. He's going to turn into the lead scorer here as he finds 2 before halftime. So you can't bank on them making those defensive errors. You have to find ways to brute force your way through. Flip resets like this will help out, but unfortunately no follow-up after Mercy's initial touch, and Debo making things a little bit nervous here. Goldheart, the double, on target and in! It's 3-1 and probably 2-0 in the series.
And you have a good inkling of why Goldheart is, I'd have to argue, probably the leading scorer across this entire bracket. Hit shots like this, the very best within ranked, within competitions. They're going to hit those 100% of the time, especially when they have all the time in the world to plan out that angle. Not only puts it down, but puts it to the far post to make it even that much more difficult for the defender.
Just finding ways to not only make it through this defense, but to really stunt while they do so. The triple touch off the backboard to start us, the double touch to end it, and Valley Christian up 2-0 in the series.
Of course, when we do have to cover Scholastic Esports, we're wondering, well, you know, what are these new players going to look like? And maybe they're going to be a little bit nervous. And then at some point, we have a very early goal for Mercy. I was about to make a whole point about Bebo, but maybe let's just talk about the de facto captain.
I wanted it to hit so badly, man. I'm sitting here like just pumping my fist like, come on, come on, come on. Seeing him pre-jump that one would have been a beautiful waterfall shot, but instead, we'll have to settle with the 1-0 that has now lasted for about 2 minutes of gameplay. I might have just jinxed it. No! Wait, yeah! Yes! I was going to say, indeed, I did. I take it back for a second with the save, but Debo refuses to let this one not go in. In my opinion, Taco, this is the best we have seen Prosper play. They're doing a good job on not letting the pressure get to them. They have players back on defense like Northward here who makes a great save. All they have to do, though, keep that defense up. I feel bad. I jinxed it on the last one. I cast a curse on this one.
And this is a really good recovery. Look at this. Jumps into the wave dash to the wall, then flicks it high, and then goes for a bump. And as you notice, defender just gets tapped a little bit to the side. That's enough to be able to open up the goal, get the ball over, and again, open up a wide open goal. Find these creative setups that, unfortunately, Prosper just doesn't quite have figured out, but 2 minutes remaining. Don't really want to sound any alarm bells yet, especially when Bebo's hitting them like that.
Fantastic shot and a really good opportunity here. Again, recognizing, like you said, that there needs to be a quick follow-up here. Mercy did the heavy lifting, pulled everybody out of net, and made it awkward. As long as you can get a shot on, there shouldn't be a player back, and indeed there was not. Prosper definitely starting to find momentum on offense. They need to keep this going, though.
Just shake it off. Your shooting has been pretty much elite the entire rest of the series, so everybody gets one, but you gotta make sure you don't happen on defense. They play the read, and that is the sheer presence that Mercy brings.
He's just got an aura about him. When you see him going up for the ball, you're like, yeah, he's going to hit this. He's going to style on me. Oh, wait, he didn't? They got to be a little careful right now, Valley Christian. I'm starting to see them dive into offense maybe more than they need to. I like how eager they are, but I don't like if they're too eager. I like that, though. Oh, my goodness. Mercy, see you in the next zip code sent to the ceiling. Let's just get to overtime. I'd rather not full dive into a play that they can counter on, and they almost did. But instead, we do get OT. Like we had said before, a very important one for both teams, but for Prosper, they know they need this next goal.
And that's what they're gonna get if not for the bar. Another deflection almost into the ceiling. It won't even scrape, but Northward has enough of a touch. He might even have more. A double tap, spike down. Prosper is right back in it. Try to tie up the series. We'll see if they can muster that effort up.
If the last game was the most important win for Prosper, this one comes second. Still, a very important game for them. They need to make sure that they are not only on for this game, but they are keeping the momentum from the last one, and they are not. Early goal already for Valley Christian. Contain the counterattack. At times it has been problematic, but at other times it has paid off with some of the biggest rewards we've seen in this series. So, impressive stuff from Valley Christian already to start off game 4, but they do it again. Absolutely. Goldheart continuing on with his offensive prowess.
From Prosper, and attacks can only last so long, especially when you need boost. Everyone back out, everything resets, and 2 minutes in, no closer to that Prosper goal, but my goodness, are they knocking on the door.
They're doing a good job of boost starving when they do get into offense. I don't know if anybody was paying attention to the top right there, but pretty much nobody on Valley Christian had anything to work with. This time they did. I've got a lot of questions of what on earth just happened here in the corner.
The quick reaction to be able to tuck that one inside netting more or less on that back post, but is it all for naught? Off the backboard, off the kickoff, well saved off the bar. And with 2 players in the corner, they got to slow this play down and reset.
They got to find a way to get offense as well, or just slow down Goldheart. Dude, what are they feeding this kid? He's got a hat trick in this game, and he's taking like 80 shots from this corner.
I'm being so for real. I think I've seen one singular hit from him in the attacking third that has not been on target. I think everything else has required a save, has hit off the frame, and it's just been bangers.
Just need a little more confidence. Watch the ways that they rotate out at midfield here. Oftentimes, they will think about making an approach and then do something like that, where Mercy will instead turn all the way back. I think part of it is the fact that Mercy has kind of designated himself as the third man for the team. So it's Bebo and Northward that are continuing to ignite this offense and dive in. The problem is they need plays like this consistently. Finally, they show us exactly what we're asking for. The immediate follow-up off the backboard. Having those good reads off the backboard, and that has given them now what is going to be a definitive 3-1 lead. Even if, well, okay, I was going to say, even if they score here, I don't know if I have time, technically this is enough. 6 seconds, the kickoff could do some wonders.
Play, maybe you do some more solo play to keep the ball close. I don't know how this one's going to work out for them. At the very least, they can't be giving up any easy ones, especially after bumps off the bar, off the post, and Goldheart. Who else takes a lead? And now the death timer has started.
At this point, it feels like they're going to need a lot more denial. This offense is coming out strong for Valley Christian.
Mercy Has a chance for an air dribble. He might get bumped on the way. That's exactly what I'm doing of Game Fu, but he doesn't actually get that contact. Debo does get the contact and the read up and over. Counterattack just like that.
Start to bait out those challenges from Prosper High School. They know that Prosper are going to start to get eager, and if they can just take it back to their own half, force them into these over-aggressive plays, they're going to find opportunities to not only maybe find some more goals, but to waste time off the clock, and also just straight up stun Goldheart. Goodness me.
It's really difficult as well because if you watch really the metagame from Valley Christian, they're stealing a lot of boosts on their own corner from Prosper when they try to steal, and also whenever they go forward, they're grabbing all the pads, and that's why I think Prosper has really struggled to get forward onto offense. They really can't generate too much of an upward lift on the aerial, and that's why they're also can't get to all these reads. Goldheart doing it himself.
He just said, you know, if this is the final game, I need a hat trick, man. I got to keep up my record because if I'm not mistaken, this dude is averaging 2 goals a game throughout the entirety of playoffs. And I think he's already going to get back to that again for this series as well. 4-0 with 2 minutes to go. Prosper, if there was ever a time to show us what you are made of, it is right this moment.
Mercy on the back pass, and it has too much sauce. Everything seemingly falling apart.
Look, I know we've talked a lot about Goldheart throughout this series, but I'm going to take a second in the final 90 to just talk a little bit about the other 2 players as well in this team. Debo and GameFu have done phenomenal jobs to support him in these plays. Again, I just can't seem to avoid the cast curse, man. The one time I want to compliment them on defense, and they do finally give up a goal. Denying them a chance at the championship, though, as Valley Christian will find the win. 4-1 in the game, 4-1 in the series. They are your Play vs. Cup champions.
There's really no stars on this team on the stat sheet because without everybody working in sync like a well-oiled machine, this wouldn't be possible. Congratulations, a national championship to go in the trophy case.